even though like literally just a few people.
Okay.
All right, so thank you for being here, guys. Thank you for spending some time with us tonight. It's going to be a fun chat regarding, I want to call it real talk, real real estate, right? And we have a little presentation here, and just want to give you guys a little bit about us. Okay, so who is Colfax Realty? Colfax Realty is a boutique real estate firm that employs a hands-on approach to satisfying the demands of its clients. We are a multifaceted, service-oriented, and multinational organization structured by the ground up to cater especially to the U.S. and international real estate end users, investors, and broker communities. So that is who Colfax is, and we've been around for about 20 years. Let me introduce Carmen. She's our broker director of Colfax Realty. She has over 25 years of experience. Carmen comes from a background of real estate herself. Her parents were in the industry. She has become one of the top producing managers and over 700 million in volume in transactions. Myself, well, I've been in business, sales and business administration for over 21 years. I was born in Honduras, and I am Colfax New Business Development Manager and International Sales Director. This is our office staff. Maria Borsi, she is our office manager. Aileen Cardell, she is our real estate trainer. She has over 30 years of experience, been in the industry, and she's definitely somebody you should pick her brain. Like, she has a lot of experience. Like, we all should be talking to her right now. And Marianceli is, she's our marketing director, and she helps us with everything, including this presentation. So who are we as real estate agents? Well, we should be proud to say that as a real estate agent, we should go around saying, yes, I am licensed in the state of Florida, belong to NAR, and we are members of the Miami Realtor Association, or whatever your town is. So be proud of saying that. Here we have Vince. He's our guest speaker tonight. And Vince, I have your little bio here. Give me a second. I have it on my other phone. So Vince has over 19 years of experience in the mortgage industry, has closed over $350 million in loans. You want to talk a little bit about yourself, Vince, here? Do you want to tell us a little bit more?
Sure, not a problem. Thank you very much. First and foremost, Jenny, you're awesome. Jenny and I connected. It's crazy, right? How everybody talks about how social networking is a little bit crazy. It's taken away some of the human touch of certain things, but it's also blessed us with the connections. So I connected with Jenny one time, a few times on social media. Then I'm a member also, and was the previous vice president of NAREP, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, and for the West Broward chapter, and had the privilege of meeting Jenny, bought some of her merch, and we spoke in person. We connected, we hit it off, and she's been able to see me. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm humbled by it, and I look forward to meeting all of you one day in person, just like I did with Jenny. But
Awesome.
a little bit about me, like Jenny said, thank you. I've been in the mortgage industry since 2003. I never got out of the industry. I went through the whole, what I call the times of great sadness. 2008 to 2012 was a pretty tough time, but went through it, never got out of the business. And previously worked as a financial advisor, was a financial advisor for Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley. And then mortgages kind of like fell into my lap. So I've been doing this now in the business since 2003, and I love it. So I take a different approach with my clients. I take a more consultative approach, because I think that this is not a transactional business, and I'm sure those of us who've been in this business for quite a time know that this is not a transactional business. This is a relationship business. So the truth of the matter is, being in a relationship business, we need to treat our clients that way. So that's one of the reasons why I'm successful in this. So aside from that, I'm here to help you all out. I want to make sure that I provide you some value tonight. So, The thing with me is you give me a microphone and the stage and I'll talk forever. You just let me know what you need me to talk
Well,
about.
that's the whole point of this tonight. It's for all of us literally to just interact and interrupt each other and just have a flow of conversation. So I guess that's why this slide is called network, 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 because by networking, that's how I was personally able to connect with Vince. So, I put there that it's not about what you know. Of course, you need to know, but it's not what you know, it's but who you know, because a lot of doors will open just by knowing someone. You pick up the phone and that person will connect you with the correct person, because no matter how much information you know or how much money you might have just sitting there, if you don't know how to move it or you don't know who to speak with, you most likely won't make the right decision at that very moment.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what now? All right, so understanding the fact that this is your business, congratulations, you're now an entrepreneur. I say this and I want to stop and laugh just because constantly, people are always asking for more help and more help and more help and demanding more of their brokers. I think that the minute you understand that this is your business, you take ownership and you take responsibility for your doings and lack of. What do you guys think so far of this first statement? Anyone?
Well, personally, I love it. And it's funny because I have little notes here. And
Okay.
one of my notes, I mean, if I shared you my screen, you think I'm a nerd. So I'm a nerd, right?
Yeah, don't worry.
And the first thing I said is, it's great. You said, what's now? Understand this is your business. Congratulations, you're an entrepreneur. And the first thing I said is, when we're talking about do's or don'ts, right? The first do I put is take your business seriously. And a lot of people, we can start business, whether it's real estate or mortgage, part-time, full-time, like you said, but it's all based on what you put into it. So I love the fact that you're saying you're an entrepreneur now. So I think it's take your business seriously, because when you really look at it, 90% of the real estate of millionaires in the US, 90% of them invest in real estate. So this is a real opportunity for us to, build some generational wealth in the industry. And the way I see it is, if you treat it like a hobby, you get hobby results. If you treat it like a professional, you get professional results.
And that's exactly it, because, obviously universities have acknowledged this now, and Aileen can speak a little bit more about this. But obviously there's full-on careers now. It's not just something that people take in as just a course, or I want to be a mechanic, or I want to be this, I want to be that. Yes, you get your license, and yes, you can do it within, I don't know, a month and a half or something. But there's so much more training, and there's so much more education, and there's so many laws and things that we have to stand by. And if you don't take it serious, you can be, obviously you'll get hurt. I guess choosing a broker is definitely very extremely vital to any agent's success. I guess the question now that I want to put out there is, what are your top 3 requirements when you're choosing a broker? Anyone want to participate in this question?
I want to go back to the first question about the entrepreneurial. I think that's the key. People sometimes, or people know agents, when they get the license, they don't understand that part. And if you don't get it, I mean, you're in the wrong path, starting in the wrong path. You are entrepreneur. You got to invest time, money, dedication, in education, in everything, in order to become a successful real estate agent. So I'm sorry that I wanted to talk before, but I didn't want to interrupt. So I think any agent must have that very clear, that you need to know that you are your own business and it depends on you, your success. So yes, let's go to the second question.
Awesome. Okay, so Thank you, Carmen, for that. And that's exactly it. When, every time we speak with new agents and every time a new agent comes into the office, obviously, we want to give them the tools and we want to give them the support. But if you're not going to take this as like, okay, you need your business card, you need to get your website, you need to get your social media, you need to do everything that requires of your own business growth, then you're in bad shape. I mean, I think it was you, Carmen, that said something about a bakery. Like, you decide to open up a bakery. How the heck are you going to start selling your goods if you don't invest? You don't invest in your counters. You don't invest in your, brochures. You don't invest in the flour. You don't invest in your cooks. You don't invest in people. You have to invest, and you have to put the hours and the sweat in order for you to become somebody. So I guess choosing a broker is definitely vital. It's vital for your success because a lot of agents, immediately want to go for the big names. But what is the big name going to get you? Obviously, you joining a big name is, you're one more in the group. But how is that really going to give you success? That's my opinion. That was my biggest question mark since the beginning. Anyone here want to chip in?
Hey, Jenny, it's Eileen here. I've worked for big firms and little firms, and I think that if you were to think about what's important, you really need to think about what's important to the owner of the company, because whatever's important to the owner of the company, the broker, it's going to permeate to the team, to the brand of the company. For example, Colfax Realty International, the reason I chose to be affiliated with them is because our owner places a lot of importance on professionalism, on education, on support, on branding, on customer service to the agents and to the customers. And all these things, they might seem like it's just common knowledge, but the importance is in the application of it, because theory is great, but application is what counts. And so many times I'm in circles of companies, and some of them are like really big companies. And when you start to look at their quality of service, of education, of support, it's really not what it should be. So, and then sometimes that can even happen to small companies. But I think it's critical to look at what's important to the broker. And I know that with Carmen, what's important to her is really important to our industry, to be educated. I mean, for her, like, for example, she has engaged me every week to train on topics that took me years to learn them. Even some of it is information that I had to learn through my master's degree. And that's how she envisions education. She puts it easy for the agent to have at a high level, and then also on a daily level as you need it as well. So, I mean, what's left is for the agent themselves to execute a good, going back to number one, the business plan. Every agent has to have a business plan. And at Colfax, we have a course that's called Goals Planning for the Year. And that planning even has an Excel spreadsheet where you actually work backwards. It's that philosophy. Think with the end in mind. Think how much money you want to make in the year and what it's going to take you to make that money in the year. You're going to have to bring it back to quarterly, monthly, daily activities. And part of that is budgetary too. You have to budget what you're going to spend in your business, not just your time, but the actual investment of going to events, putting together marketing campaigns, social media, targeted ads. It's
yeah. No, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot. That's why you have to put together a business plan, not just what you want to make, but you have to put a budget aside for even yourself. Like how much, like for example, look, number 3, pay your fees. Like when I first got into the industry, I don't think the school itself told us how much the MLS was. You don't take into consideration the fact that a lot of brokers are going to charge you a big fee, a big chunk to just join them. You don't take into consideration that you're going to have a monthly cost for even just your e-signature. There's so many different fees that you have to keep in mind. And if you don't have a little safety net, a little savings for that, or at that point, it brings us to number 4. What are the expectations? Are you part-time? Are you full-time? If you don't take these question marks serious, then you're going to face a lot of frustration in the industry, because you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm making no money. And when you have desperation, and when you're frustrated with your bills and everything else, then it shows. And then at that point, your energy is so heavy that nobody wants to work with you. So yeah, I guess that brought us to point number 4, where it's like, all right, did you save money? No, please be reminded that there is no salary. You are self-employed. There is no health insurance. Well, actually, we get these calls all the time, and we get these messages, people offering us health insurance, but it's usually not something that brokers provide, right? Because at the end of the day, we are 1099, we are independent contractors. So these are all things to consider when you are a business owner. That's what you have to keep, in mind. There's no insurance, there's no vacation, and you're literally working 24/7. You should be answering your call. I think my biggest frustration with other agents is the fact that they don't answer their phone. Jesus Christ, answer your phone. You text message them, they don't answer. You call them, they don't answer. And then they're like, oh, text me. Okay, well, I already texted you. Can you please answer? And then how are you supposed to sell or make a transaction if people don't communicate? A lot of agents out there, literally, they turn off their phones at 6 o'clock. It's like, wait, a lot of people want to see a property after 6 p.m. They want to see it on the weekends. So if you don't see yourself being available pretty much 24/7, then you really have to consider how this industry is going to work for you. Anybody has any comments so far?
Well, the nice thing is that it's unlimited income potential.
Well,
right?
you're jumping ahead. That's the next slide. But yes, you're absolutely right. It's unlimited income potential. And then number 5 applies to you, Aileen. It's like, okay, take your training seriously. People, take your training seriously, especially if you have a trainer like what we have here at Colfax that and I say this with utmost respect to Aileen, but pick her brain, pick your coach's brain. Again, some brokers will charge you for a mentorship fee, or they'll charge you all sorts of fees, right? So keep that in mind when you're thinking of fees. Here in-house, we don't have those fees. And the fact is that when choosing your broker, also keep in mind that you need a broker that can be a mentor to you. You need to feel that confidence that you can call and ask questions and that they will answer you. So just things to keep in mind. Guys, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask questions. Talk to me, talk to anybody here on the live. All right, so number 6, learn your market and invest in marketing, right? Learn your market, meaning you can't just go around speaking nonsense or what you heard your cousin say. You really need to understand what, even your neighborhood, what the houses are selling for. Yes, it's called farming, but you need to understand deeper than that. Deeper than just the terminology. You need to understand what the houses are selling for, how long they're sitting in the market, who's the owner. If you can go as deep as that, you can do that reverse search. Do they live here? Is it rented? You need to learn, maybe just start with your block. If you learn your block deep enough, maybe you can expand to the radius of a mile, and then you go from there. And then that's the way you start becoming an expert in your area. And then you can start saying, hey, I'm the expert in Westchester. I'm the expert in Coral Gables. Because now you're expanding your expertise. Anyone want to say something towards that?
I just want to say that sounds like it's oversaid and overstated, but it's because it really works.
Yes.
You apply that discipline, people will be calling you, and you won't even need to call people after being very consistent with that approach for 5, 6, 7 months. The problem is people do it for 2 or 3 months. They don't get any results. They don't get any calls, and then they stop. So it's really important to stick with the plan at minimum 6 to 7 months, and you're going to start getting calls.
Exactly. Consistency is the key. So I was listening to, I guess it was an Instagram or something. So somebody did a test, a neighborhood test, and this person went door knocking, and then they said, "Hey, who's the top realtor in the area?" And they mentioned this person, that person, just because they had seen like maybe like a little flyer or something from that person, right? So they took note of that, and then they went home and they consistently started sending a fictitious agent's information. They just started just pretending to be whatever agent. And then they started sending constantly that one brochure, about this one agent. And before you know it, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, they went around again, they door knocked. He's like, "Hey, just curious, who's the top producer in the area? Who's the top agent in the area?" Immediately people started saying so and so, because that's the last person they remember getting something from. So if you invest in the marketing and you're consistent on it, you will be top of mind to these people around you. So I think in any business, honestly, I think sales in general, door knocking is the basis. Like, you have to do that. Let people know that you're in business and you're in real estate, and this is what you do. You're taking yourself serious, so people will take you serious. All right, people, talking about marketing, please get yourself a professional headshot. Do not get a selfie. Do not get a filtered selfie. Don't get yourself something that it's so like not recognizable you. Don't get yourself something that people are going to be like, wait a second, this is unprofessional, or who the heck is this person on this picture? Get yourself a professional headshot. Get yourself a killer bio. Again, your broker, if you already have a broker, and somebody within the office should be able to give you some key pointers. I know here in the office, Aileen very graciously helps our agents with giving us a superstar stellar bio where we look like true industry professionals. I think it's very important to do that, just by reading your bios, people will gravitate to you. It's like, man, this person really does know what they're doing, or really has a true background, really true this and that. Like, they want to know about you, and they start calling you just based on what they see. It's literally, a bio is your resume. So keep that in mind. Does anybody want to interrupt me?
I can add something.
Yes, of course. I want to see you guys interact, please.
Investing in marketing. I mean, there is a lot of things where you can invest, but you gotta have a plan. You gotta prepare a strategy. You gotta have a niche. You gotta focus, because the money can go away in 2 seconds if you don't plan accordingly what you want, what area, what is your niche. So it's super important. Sometimes it's better to hire an expert in marketing to give you advice. And what is for example, in different regions or areas, Facebook is more important than Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. So you gotta do a market analysis, or have a marketing expert analyze for you where to put the money before you go like crazy and do postcard and do Facebook and do this. Just make a plan, a very solid plan with a strategy, with a target, a niche. You have that, everything, because it's important also in marketing that whatever amount of money that you're going to invest, you're constant for a year. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months is throwing the money out. You better go on vacation and enjoy that money instead of only investing for 1 to 3 months. You gotta make a plan and make sure, if you only have $200 a month for marketing, it gotta be for an entire year. Or if you have 1,000 or whatever is the amount of marketing, but make sure that you're not gonna get short in the 3rd month or the 4th month. You're gonna have a plan for an entire year, and then you're gonna see results. That's my 2 cents on that aspect.
Hey, Carmen, and Jenny, if I can chime in on that, it's definitely like Carmen is saying about the plan. I have a short little story that really brings it home about what Carmen is saying. and this was an article that came out in the South Florida Journal because it was so interesting. Here in South Florida, a realtor was hyper local with their posts, their social media posts on Instagram, and some company up in Jersey, after like 4 or 5 months of seeing this realtor being consistent with his hyper local posting of coastal oceanfront properties, reached out to him, and guess what the sale that he did? $55 million residential oceanfront sale in Palm Beach County. So the point is, you have to be not just consistent, but you also have to think about your target audience, and you have to be hyper local to what you're going to specialize in, like Carmen and Jenny are saying. And that's a better example than that. When I read that article, I was telling everybody about it because that's a really big deal, you know?
Exactly.
So it's the content of your material has to be it has to be what you're specializing in, the type of client that you want to bring to you. You have to post things that are going to attract the client you want.
You're exactly right.
All right, so based on exactly on what you're saying, so that brings us to number 8. You know, how do you attract your clients? Being consistent. You know, once you earned your client, once you did that, I mean, that's definitely something hard to do in the first place, but you better do a very good job at, you know, literally from A to Z. And then from there, you're going to have hopefully a repeat client, but definitely you want to earn those referrals, because through testimonial, through referrals, it's how your business grows. You want to increase that sphere of influence, but the only way of doing that is by people really putting your name out there. You know, it's so funny because when I first started, it's like my biggest thing was like, oh my God, no, hold on. I can't have I don't really want to start telling all my friends and family that I'm a realtor, because que pena, you know, it's like they're going to get bored of me saying, you know, posting houses or talking like a realtor. And I had this very negative mindset about it. And because of that, I found myself really frustrated since the very beginning, because the only people that really knew that I was a realtor was my family and friends, but those were the people I didn't want to say anything to. So I was the last person they were thinking of. So, you know, when I finally got over that mindset is when I started getting the referrals, or people just asking me questions, and they started seeing and trusting a little bit more of me being in the industry. So it's getting over your own head and literally just putting yourself out there, which is what's most important. Point number 9, and that's where I struggle the most. I don't know if somebody else wants to say something, but finding your work-life-work balance. I have a hard time with that, just because I absolutely love what I'm doing, and I'm not, you know, I'm not just what do you say? I'm not BSing. Let me just be honest. I absolutely love what I'm doing, so it's hard for me to turn off the phone and not be connected. But it is important for you to have that balance. You know, you have children at home, or you have pets at home. You know, you need to go on vacation. And I think that the healthier you are mentally and physically, the better energy you're able to give out to your coworkers, for the other agents, towards your firm, and definitely towards your clients. Anybody wants to say anything about that?
I can probably give or need a class on that, just on that alone.
I was wondering, Vince. Where's your work-life balance?
I need that class.
Yeah.
Don't launch that class.
I'm going to ask Carmen to allow a Pilates or a yoga instructor to come to our office.
No, you know what we need to do? We need to do a team building experience where we all just literally take a nap.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Today's team building experience will be to calm down and take a nap at least for 2 hours.
We all wake up and be renewed. But definitely, you know, having that work-life balance, it's important. On my phone at 10:30 at night, I have my phone automatically goes into sleep mode, and that's the only time I'm able to be like, okay, enough. Like, you have to disconnect from social media. You have to disconnect from, you know, and obviously I have my emergency contacts that are always able to get through, but it needs to be at a certain point that you have to put it down. just because your head just keeps going.
Yep.
And then if it's not your phone, it's still your brain still thinking. So it's like, at what point do you stop? All right, number 10. Oops, sorry, where did I go? I'm jumping all over the place here. Sorry, guys. And the computer sensitive. Nope, here's Vince. Jesus.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, back.
Oh, espérate.
There you are.
No, one more.
Where did it go?
Ahí está. Okay. So let's be reminded we are 1099 independent contractors. This takes us back to the very beginning, right? Being the fact that we are our own bosses, this is our business. So please keep in mind your taxes. As a brand new agent, that's the last thing that is in mind, and this is the first thing that will get you. So make sure you become an entity, get something, some way, somehow that you are able to, get some tax breaks and stuff like that. But anybody else wants to really put an input into this?
Plan to pay, always put money away for taxes, or pay them monthly on a coupon schedule, whatever it is. Some people have a really hard time when you leave it for the end of the year, and then you see how much you've got to pay, and then you start getting behind. Sometimes it's better to pay it quarterly, in advance. I learned that being on commissions only, that sometimes you're better off paying in advance, quarterly or monthly, however it is, as compared to waiting for the end of the year. And then somehow, it's just a little harder, but that's just, some advice. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay it. There's two things that you can't avoid: death and taxes, right? I mean, they can garnish your pay, they can lien your properties. Taxes are a very serious thing.
That is terrible. Death and taxes. God, morbid. All right. The good. All right. So the good is, it is flexible. Flexible time, they say in order for you to be truly successful, you need to put yourself on a schedule anyways. You should time block yourself and really work your time. So the good is that you do have a flexible. So if you're a parent, you can definitely, step away at 2:30, go pick up your kids and circle back, answer the emails or the phone. You're able to do a lot of things. Or you have some transactions going on, you can go on vacation and leave somebody to do the showings for you, or maybe work the contract again, virtually. So that part is definitely good. You're not stuck 9 to 5. So you are you have to just do time management. Unlimited income potential. That goes back to what Aileen was saying. And I don't know why my computer's saying that it's low. Can you guys see that? It says low. And I'm like, wait a minute. All right. Unlimited income potential.
Jenny, just real quick, because I know a lot of the agents have asked me, how is the best way to stay focused? Keeping a day timer, whatever it is, digital, a written agenda, but to plan your week ahead of time. What do you want to accomplish in the week? And then break it down to daily activities. And, like Jenny was saying, you have to time block. But if you write it down, type it on a digital planner, there's something about putting it in writing, either digitally or handwritten, but put it in writing.
That's right. Okay. All right. So unlimited income potential. Obviously, the more you work and the more you put yourself out there and the more you have in your pipeline, there is unlimited potentials in your income period. You can't even say any more about that. That's what it is. And you become a respectable industry professional. So here at Colfax, we say, find your niche, right? You want to be able to be the greatest at something. You can be good at everything, but you're not excellent. You're not a pro at everything. So that's definitely a good. Anyone wants to contribute to anything? All right, let's go to the bad. Competition is real. So competition is real. This one puts it in a very nice perspective, just because the way I see it is like some people out there are really vicious. So the way I see it, and I know Eileen has a little different perspective on this, is that you are in competition with yourself. First of all, make sure that you are well educated, know your market, know everything. You're keeping a bond with your clients. And the fact is that you're able to do that, then you're in competition with yourself. All right. So I think when you start comparing yourself to the next top producer, but you just started in real estate, it can become a very frustrating experience. You always feel like you're perhaps not good enough, or you're never going to get there because you're comparing yourself. And maybe this person's been in the industry 5, 10, 15 years. It's impossible for you to have that knowledge or confidence that they have.
Jenny, I think it's always, I think what Jenny's saying is true, because you don't want to be so overly demanding with yourself that you start losing that motivation. But it's really important to look at who's been successful and what has made them successful. And, and then also look at different successful realtors and see how different ones have chosen different specialties, different ways of going about it. You can even go on YouTube and look at the YouTube videos. And by looking at realtors, even in other parts of the country, can help you kind of understand where you want to be and how are you different, but yet how can you also, be the same throughout your evolution of your career.
Right. All right. Well, you must be available. Answer your phone. That goes back to the being available pretty much 24/7, especially when you have clients and things happening. And then, of course, the industry has mandatory training. So make sure you don't lose track of that. Make sure you do your hours. Don't lose your license just because you didn't do a class. You didn't do hours. Just keeping a lot of things in mind. It's always, remember, it's your responsibility. It's still your business. Okay, what is the ugly? Well, you don't always close a deal. You don't always close a deal. You might go on 1,000 showings. Of course, you need to what do you call this? Do pre-qualify. That's the word that Eileen kept telling me. You have to pre-qualify your client correctly and not waste too much time. But when you first get started, that's what happens. You just want to sell, you just want to do something, you want to have a transaction already under your belt. So you constantly just put yourself out there and you waste a lot of time. And then sometimes you do all of this and the client just tells you, oh, you know what, never mind, I don't want to do it anymore. Or I changed my mind, and there you go. You didn't close the deal, even if it's just a rental. It happens. It's not fun. Clients are sometimes unreasonable. Everybody, including ourselves, we always hear out in the industry, or not just real estate itself, but out in the world. Well, the customer is always right. The customer is always right. Sometimes the customer is just completely unreasonable. Maybe they want something that's worth $5 million, but they only could afford $500,000. So what do you do then? How do you sugarcoat the truth? How do you tell them, hey, you only were pre-qualified for $500,000. You really cannot afford the $5 million. We need to scale it down, or we need to change. Either instead of looking in Key Biscayne, maybe we should be looking in a different area. What can we do? So learning to speak to your clients, bringing them back to reality, it's very important, and you have to be able to do that. And then, unfortunately, 87% of the real estate agents will fail within the first 5 years of the industry. So we already spoke about a lot, and still within the first 5 years, if you don't do everything that you need to take this business serious, you might fail. So that is the ugly truth, guys. So you need to take this serious if you want to be successful. Anybody want to contribute towards this?
Jenny, I think you're great in bringing out all the truth about this. I love it. It's great, because the only way you can be successful is, Dr. Phil says that if you can name it, you can claim it, and you're doing exactly that. So I think that's wonderful. Really appreciate
Vince, you
it.
want to tell me about your experiences? You've been very quiet, and I know I invited you here too. Like, tell me, what is it that agents are doing that is like makes you cringe? It's like, what
Well,
is it?
well, it's funny because I've been waiting, right? I don't know. I don't want to just jump in and
No,
say,
go ahead.
but
I want you to jump in. I want you to
but
talk.
a lot of stuff that Eileen and that Carmen are talking about, if I could, I mean, I should have sent you the little outline that I had. It's because I'm like, hey, are you peeking on my computer about some of the stuff that I wrote? Because that's how I've built my business. And but the one thing that I'm gonna say is some of you might be thinking, well, what's this lender guy gonna be able to contribute to this? And the truth of the matter is, I've done pretty much all the same exact activities that you all have. The only difference is that you're selling houses and showing people houses. I'm financing it. You know, you're the head of the transaction, but I'm the neck. You know, I'm the one who's helping move it and making it happen at the end of the day, because without us financing the deal, it's going to be hard to get the deal. But one of the things that I will say here for sure is when you're in the real estate industry, you have to be ready to do things that you're uncomfortable with as well. There are a lot of people who have sales call reluctance. There are a lot of people who don't like to speak in front of crowds. There's a lot of people who doubt either the biggest thing that you're going to notice here in the real estate business is that you're going to prejudge not only yourself, but you're going to prejudge your family members, friends, and circle of influence. You're going to start thinking, oh, this person isn't going to want to talk to me because I'm new in the real estate game. But remember that there's somebody out there who says, you know what, I'd rather give this deal to Eileen because she's new in the real estate game, because she'll work for me. So never second guess anything that is going to take place. Don't ever doubt yourself, like they've said. But the other thing is be okay with being uncomfortable, because that is what's going to allow you to get out of your comfort zone. That's what's going to allow you to get to the next level. So if you're not okay with approaching people in a networking event, then make it a point to attend at least 2 to 3 networking events a month or maybe a week, and take 10 business cards in your pocket and say, I'm not leaving here until I give these 10 away and I get 10 back. And you use that as an icebreaker. One of the other things that is huge is no matter what happens, never give up. Just like Eileen and Carmen said, right? Pick your niche and never give up and keep on hammering down. One of the things that I don't know if it's going to be talked about or not. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but
It's okay. Go for it.
the key to this business, like I said earlier, is this is a relationship game. This is not it's a contact sport. It's a relationship game. This is not a transactional industry. If you treat it like a transactional industry, there's a lot of these little sayings that I've heard all throughout my career. You know, if you treat a customer just like any other customer, then that customer is going to treat you just like any other realtor. You want to separate yourself from the profession. You want to be the professional realtor and the professional, person out there giving the value. You want to be the guided professional that has the information. So number one, I always say always be prospecting, always be prospecting, always be prospecting. Everyone who's in your cell phone has to be in your database. Everyone who's in your cell phone should be touched at least a minimum once a month, whether it's through email, text message, or something. You want to make sure that you touch base with everybody on your cell phone and everybody needs to know that you're in real estate now. Not only that, but anyone you give business to has to be willing to give you business. So for the ladies out there who go and do your hair and your nails, that hair, the I don't know what you call them, the hair person and the nail person, they need to be able to be have a stack of your cards to give you business as well. And always make it a goal to be adding somebody to your database. And I know Eileen talked about it. You have to have a database. You have to have some sort of way to communicate with people, because you can't just depend on social media to say, hey, I'm a realtor now, send me listings or let me help you buy a house. You need to let everybody know that you're a realtor. And sometimes it's going to have to be outside of your comfort zone, whether it's making a call or meeting with somebody face to face. So that's a little bit on that end, and then I'll talk, if we get into it another time, about one other thing that's like a cringer, but
Well, go ahead and talk about the cringer, just because we're still in the ugly. I mean, the next
Okay.
slide is going to be about, our best advice. So let's talk about the ugly. Let's talk about the cringers.
Okay. One of the things I see a lot of recently in the industry is, we don't want to be, and I say that we because it's the same on my end. We don't want to be jacks of all trades and masters of none. Where I'm a big believer in stay in your lane, right? So the real estate agent is the real estate pro. You handle the real estate stuff. Me as a lender, I'm the numbers guy. I know what's going on with the guidelines. I know what's happening. What the customer can qualify for. I hate to say this, but a lot of times the buyers that you're working with, they'll tell you just a little bit of the story, but then when they speak to me to get pre-approved and everything of that sort, they're gonna tell Jenny, yeah, Jenny, I got $100,000 and I want to buy a $500,000 house and I make $180,000 a year. But then when they come to me and I'm like, yeah, they've got $100,000, but out of that $100,000, $50,000 of it is in a foreign account that can't be sourced or in cash under their mattress, and then they're self-employed and they only claim $24,000 a year. So that's why I'm a big believer in and I say we all, number one, we always have to work as a team, the mortgage person, your real estate agent, and your title company, but we all also have to stay in our lane, but work and have the lines of communication open amongst us. I will always I mean, one of the things, I'm brutally honest with all of my real estate partners and my referral partners whenever they refer me a client, because I want them to be brutally honest with me, because that's the only way we really gain major trust and we can really make a successful relationship out of this. But it's important that you know what's going on in the financing and that I know what's going on the real estate end, because I will never come to a client if a client comes to me and says, hey, do you think I'm getting a good deal here because Jenny says I should pay $20,000 over appraised value? I'm going to say, what does Jenny say? I'm not going to say, Jenny, she's making you pay $20,000 over appraised value. Is she crazy? I'm never going to do that.
And then that's why it's important to have a good relationship with your vendors.
Absolutely. And you'll never, I mean, I'm one of the lenders out there that I'll tell you, have your top person, have your top lender. And if you need one, I'll give you his name is Vince Rodriguez. He's with Highlands Residential Mortgage, and his number is 786-208-8112, right? But it's always good to also have at least 2 backup lenders. And believe it or not, one of those 2 backup lenders should be somebody from a big commercial bank. I know you might be cringing and saying, oh my God, a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or Chase, who wants to do a mortgage with them? Unfortunately, you're going to come across a client who has been, banking with Bank of America since the days of Barnett Bank. And, and they don't want to leave Bank of America. And we, as the real estate professionals, we can't force them to use Vince Rodriguez or to use, whoever else. We have to just then hold their hand, and it's good for you to make a contact with somebody at Bank of America, because when I worked at Bank of America, I was those people's contact. And I had many of my realtor partners telling their clients, well, if you're going to use Bank of America, then you got to use Vince Rodriguez. And that they can do, but they can't force them to do something else. So the more we stay in our lanes and we keep the open communication amongst each other, then the more we can be a team and a cohesive front, so that when it comes down to it, look, at the end of the day, I'm a reflection of you because you're referring me your client. So I'm gonna be treating your clients as wonderful as I possibly can, but I'm also gonna have to tell you some of the good, bad, and ugly. And the more we stay in our lanes and the more we keep our communication open, and if you have questions about interest rates, if you have questions about down payments and programs, ask me, because there might be a reason why that customer is getting an 8% interest rate that you may not know about. They might have told you that they have great credit, but that's because they went onto Credit Karma and saw that their credit score is a 720. But when we really pulled their credit score, it's a 620. So these are things that we always have to take into consideration. So it's a big thing that we always keep open communications and we all stay in our lanes.
And I think it's important, Vince, that people respect each other in the industry as professionals. Honestly, like, you know, I personally have had the experience of even other agents becoming really rude on the phone. And I'm like, my first reaction is like, all right, let's just be professional and thanks for your time. Like, it is what it is, you know? But I think, you know, it's very easy to lose the cool. For example, if somebody's reaching out to you and for whatever reason, the client ends up with that 8% that you mentioned, then imagine the agent turning around and cursing you out or questioning why the heck did this happen, and or just, you know, I think it's more than anything, it's how things are said than what they're really said. You know, if they can ask you the question, but it's like, how are they asking you the question? What's the tonality in it? So I think respect needs to be a you know, true enforcer period within the industry itself or anywhere in general. You don't want to go to a restaurant and be completely rude to the waitress.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Well, I have one thing to say regarding what you were saying earlier. By the way, I'm Brian Bulos. My brother works with you guys, Lawrence.
Oh, hey, how are you, Brian?
Good, and you?
Very good, thank you. You do sound like your brother.
Yes, I saw that you guys were having this meeting, so I decided to join. I'm a mortgage loan officer myself. So one thing I have to say regarding what you said earlier is educate yourself. The more knowledge you have, the more you can stand your ground professionally, and the less nervous you'll be when you're talking to clients or other realtors. So at the end of the day, everything really triggers down to education and the knowledge you have regarding the industry.
There you go. That's exactly it. And then, you know, there's a reason a lot of people won't even approach their family is because they're insecure in their own knowledge. Like, they don't even know how to answer something about their own neighborhood because they haven't educated themselves. But the minute you educate yourself, you don't have to be a walking encyclopedia. You don't have to be a walking herald, but you know enough to at least engage in conversation. So you're absolutely right about that. All right, so I guess my biggest advice here is be patient with yourself. Don't, you know, things take time. You know, getting the knowledge, getting the confidence, becoming a professional within whatever the niche is that you're going for. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. For that reason, I put out there at the very beginning, it's like, did you save money for the industry? Because when you first start, even as a part-timer, you're going to spend a lot. You have to keep in mind your association fees, your broker fees, if there's any. You know, there's fees for this, fees for that, whatever it is. You're going to be out of money. Then you're going to show frustration with your clients, which will turn into no sales. And then you're just going to hate the industry. At that point, you're just going to walk away and you're going to say, forget, it's not for me. And I've seen that from a lot of people. Hence why 87% do not make it. Okay, you are always learning, even as a seasoned agent. You will always be learning. That's why we have continuing education. That's why we have more certifications. That's why we have a lot of different things that will just continue to broaden our knowledge. Everything is a mindset. Please be positive. You know, by having patience with yourself and having a very positive mindset. Early morning, first thing you do is like, all right, today I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm so excited. I'm going to, you know, whatever your mindset is and whatever your routine is, have that morning routine, whether you exercise, whether you listen to motivational speakers on YouTube, whatever it is that you do, then do it with the right mindset. It's going to make you feel better. And again, it's all about the energy you bring to the client, to your fellow agents and your vendors. Save yourself the headache, and this one, Aileen, and I'm sure Vince will approve, always pre-qualify your client. You know, don't waste your vendor's time. Don't bring in a client that you know yourself that it's pretty much impossible. Perhaps at this point, I guess, Vince, you can correct me, you know, you can get them on the track to eventually buying their home, but that's not always the case. It's not always the case. Just because somebody has the intentions of buying a home doesn't mean that they will be pre-qualified.
Yep, Most definitely. And obviously my goal is to get everybody as many people into a house as possible, right? We want to be able to pre-approve as many people as we possibly can. But at the end of the day, we, just like Jenny mentioned before, we have to be realistic with some of our clientele, right? Sometimes we're seeing a lot of this now, believe it or not. We're seeing a lot of people who went from being regular W-2 employees to 1099. Some people are having challenges with being able to prove income. A lot of individuals are, really minimizing the income that is actually being shown on their tax returns, right? And right now we're in the perfect storm. Interest rates have come up a little bit, even though over the last 2 weeks they've come down significantly. But with interest rates right now at a slightly higher pace than normal, there's a lot of people out there that just think that they can't buy. So even if they feel that they can't buy right now, my main goal is to get them, buyer ready. That's what we call them on our end, is that we want to get them buyer ready or ready to purchase a home, within 30, 60, 90 days. And if it's going to take longer, then we put a whole plan into place. And that's where I'll say, okay, Eileen, we pre-approved this customer. They've got about 6 months worth of work to do between savings, paying off credit cards, and working on their debt, and working on their credit scores. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what my communication plan is for the customer over the next 6 months. Here's what I propose yours is. Make sure you keep them on the list of the drips and sending them the properties, and I'm going to make sure that I'm in touch with them at least every 2 to 3 weeks, just touching base. And then let's face it, we're already on December 14th, and just 2 weeks ago it was the 1st of January of 2022. This year passed, so 6 months is going to be here quicker than you think. So that's our goal, is to try to get people onto the fast pass of getting into the homes, because there's a lot of things to look forward to in 2023.
Yes, amen. You know what? I was actually reading, and I'm not into what is it called, numerology or something like that. But if you look it up, they say that 2023 is supposed to be a year of abundance. It's supposed to be the number itself. It's a positive energy, lots of goodness, and who knows? I guess we're always just so hopeful that better things are coming. But apparently, number 23, that's the symbol for it. So let's see. You never know. Let me just play this little quick video, guys. I know that. Again, I know I started the intro with who was Colfax, but let me just give you guys this little quick video, and then we'll be ending our chat soon. If anybody has any questions, anything that they need some clarifications on, just please put it on the chat or unmute yourself. We want to see you guys interact a little bit more.
Sometimes it's hard to get where you want to go. Sometimes, in order to move ahead, you have to be brave and daring to start something new. And when it's time to start that exciting new chapter, it's critical to have an experienced business partner who has done what you want to do, an inspiring guide who can help you get to your dream destination. At Colfax Realty, we believe in one clear path to lasting financial freedom. That is through the fast-growing and evolving real estate industry. Our mission at Colfax Realty is to build a strong family of aspiring, bold individuals enjoying real estate through a digital-based and user-friendly system. We want to inspire and empower you. Yes, you can achieve all of your dreams. You can be part of our growing team, even if you have no experience in real estate. For anyone ready to take their real estate business to the next level, Colfax Realty is the answer they have been waiting for. At Colfax Realty, we are committed to assist the increasing number of real estate agents struggling with commissions income, help agents overcome the lack of clients, education, and effective mentorship, provide support with lead generation, marketing, and first-class training, help create financial freedom through our 7 ways to earn residual income. You can enjoy the clear pathway with a rewarding and dynamic compensation plan, a quick start program, and mentorship support to help you earn your first commissions as quickly as possible. The opportunity is now. Join us. Colfax Realty, Real estate, real people, real deals.
I love that video.
Sometimes it's hard to
Sorry,
get
guys.
where you want to go.
Hold on.
Sometimes.
I'm trying to figure out how to get to the next slide. All right, so this is the slide where you guys are able to just, and where did it go? Sorry, there we go. Just take a quick snap to our little QR codes here. You know, you have my personal Instagram. I call Jenny_Realtor. You have Colfax Realty Official. You have House of Real Estate, which is where you can get these fabulous shirts that Vince and I are wearing. And of course, colfaxrealty.com, our website. So feel free to follow us, take a quick picture of that, and then follow us afterwards, however you feel like it's most easiest for you. So that's it on the presentation itself. So now is my picture. This whole time was carved.
Jenny, if you don't mind me saying, if you check the chat, I went ahead and Eileen had sent me a message, but I also put in the chat my link to my Monday Mortgage Minute that I have every single Monday. It's at 10 a.m. My Monday Mortgage Minute is literally anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. I just give a quick status of the market, what to expect for the weeks to come, and I go over a product or something of the sense, you know. But I try to keep it quick.
I know, your little chats are awesome. I really love it because I love that energy you put out there, and then you give the information that you just want to keep hearing more. It's like, what do you mean it's over?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Well, I appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
Did you have anything else in your slide that I we should have merged the slides, I guess.
No, it's okay. I mean, if anybody needs anything, has any questions, you know where to reach me. If not, I'll put it in the chat. I'm a nerd. I'm a numbers nerd. I am a training nerd. Anything that you need, any questions you have, I'm here to help you out without a problem.
That's awesome.
And I will tell you that I do work for Highlands Residential Mortgage. We're a direct lender. So just know that what you see back here is my personal team. And so, but we are a national company. We're a direct lender. So you don't have to worry about, us being a big bank like a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and our customers getting lost in the back. So we're full service on our end.
Okay, cool. Then we're definitely going to circle back and chat with you, just because we're doing a lot of noise in the international market. So if you have any programs for the foreign nationals, I definitely want to chat with you, and that way we can have maybe we can do a Zoom with them, and then that way you can bring your products visible to them as well. Absolutely. Does anybody have any questions, anything so far? I honestly envision this being a little bit more interactive. But maybe on the next one, we'll bring different subjects and different things where people would just literally just hop in and interrupt and be a little bit more. I want it to be cruel. I wanted you guys to be like very vicious about your questions. Because I think it's important, for people to any real questions that they have about the industry. I know I had a hard time at the beginning. Maybe that's why I'm so traumatized. Initially for me, it was like very sink or swim type thing. So not fun. But I found Colfax, so I am definitely, I'm floating now. All right, guys. Have a good night. I know que nos pasamos un poquito de tiempo. It's 7:44. It should have been an hour, but we were having fun. So, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Eileen, and thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for everyone that joined. Sandra, ¿cómo estás?
Really nice. Thank you.
You liked it? You enjoyed it?
Yes, a lot of new ideas to put in, to think
Awesome.
about.
Awesome. So guys, I wanted to introduce Sandra. She is one of our agents from Peru, and she's growing her team out there. So I think it's really cool that she considered joining this webinar tonight. because now she can tell her agents how it really is here in the US. And it's like, don't have this mindset that because in Latin America is very open, whatever you want to do is okay. No, it's not. Not here. So we have a lot of restrictions and we have a lot of guidelines we have to keep in mind. So thank you, Sandra, for being.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye,
Bye, guys. Bye. Buenas noches a todos. Gracias por estar aquí. A la orden.
Thank you, everybody. Hey, Vince,
Thank you.
and Brian, and Sandra, Jenny. I loved all the truth that we talked about. So, and Carmen, everybody.
Yeah, it was fun. Brian, thanks for joining us and thank you for chiming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Ciao. Good night, guys.
Good night.